What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you come in and you check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk on this Spurs team, man. I've been kind of keeping up and tracking these the Spurs lately. Um, since like the last two times they played OKC, they beat them, right? And I've been kind of tracking them and watch what they've been doing with this kid Wembanyama and stuff like that. And so it just brought me to the realization that this Spurs team, man, even though Greg Popovich is not on the bench anymore, the way they operating and the way that they are managing this kid Wembanyama and the talent that they put around Wembanyama. This reminds me of the Spurs team back uh when they had all those guys like Sean Elliott and Dave Robertson and what was the guard name? Oh man, Th- like in the early days when the Spurs, man. And so this is like classic Greg Popovich type. You could just tell that his fingerprints are all over this team right here because they operating the same way the same way they did when he was here. So whoever and with this new head coach that they have, let me look up this guy, this new head coach they have here because I don't know, like I said, all right, so the guy name is Miss Johnson, but now I don't know if Miss Johnson was like came from like in-house or if they went outside to get him, but this guy Miss Johnson definitely did his homework as far as uh like they like doing things the San Antonio Spurs way, right? And I say that because on this team here, they have a really good mix of young talent. Everybody know about Victor Wembanyama. They got Victor Wembanyama on here. Uh, so everybody familiar with Victor Wembanyama as far as the young talent, right? But then next to him, you got this kid, Dylan Harper. This, let me see, is he a rookie? Yeah, yeah. So this is rookie year. Now, Dylan Harper is to me was a big surprise. I don't know, maybe if people who familiar with him not surprised, but he really at what 6'5", he really he's a two-way basketball player. And the thing about it is with the talent around him and the guys who are like the more experienced guys around him, you're not really asking this guy to do a whole lot. So he can focus on just learning the game and just really basically reacting and playing off of his athleticism until he get to learn the game, right? Then you got my man De'Aaron Fox on here. Let me see how long De'Aaron Fox been in the league. De'Aaron Fox been in the league. He 8 years in, right? So he definitely has a great amount of experience, a good amount of experience. Now I like De'Aaron Fox. I just think that sometimes he can be a little bit sporadic, right, with his shot selection. But playing with the Spurs, I think I think he's not as like his shot selection is not as bad as it was like when he was with Sacramento, right? And I think that's probably due to coaching and the style of play that they want to play. So he he looked a little bit more under control than he did, like in previous years. But I like the way he looked too on this team. Then you got guys like another veteran like Kelly Olynyk, right? I like Kelly Olynyk. Ever since he was with Boston, I'm not sure who else he was with, but I do remember him playing with Boston and get a big man giving them some quality minutes, really good defense. This guy right here, Luke Cornett, that's crazy, right? So you got Luke Cornett who play a lot when Wembanyama is in there. That just make and he's a 7 footer. Yeah, he's 7 foot. He's 7'1". And so you got this kid, Luke, and you got two 7 footers in there. So if you just so happen to be able to get past one of those defenders out there on the perimeter, you still got to go through these guys. And right now, this team right here, the way they constructed, I just think nobody is really going to want to see them in the, especially in the West. Like who they, so they sitting at number 2 behind a team that they really just been dominating lately. It's just looked like they have OKC's number, and they sitting at number 2. Really, if you ask me, in the West, they the number 1 team. And I think, in my opinion, before the season is over with, I think they probably gonna be sitting at number 1. You know, because of the experience they have, like as far as with the players. Now, I like Harrison Barnes too. I'm trying to think, how many rings did Harrison Barnes win when he was with Golden State? Do we have 2 rings? But Harrison Barnes came out of North Carolina, and let me see how long Harrison Barnes been in. He's been in the league for 13 years. So that's another veteran ball player, man, that they put around, Wemby. They got him around this kid Dylan Harper. Man, this team is dangerous. And to me, I think they're more dangerous on the defensive end, than they are, or just as dangerous on the defensive end as they are at the offensive end. That's why I like this team, right? Because they get after you on the defensive end. And they proved it when they played against like I said, those 2 times they played against OKC, right? Because OKC is used to being able to lock down their opponents, right? And that's what I thought coming into the season. I was like, you're gonna have to have a team that, because OKC don't allow you to like trade buckets with them. They score on their end, and then they come and they just try to lock you down on the defensive end, or at least make it hard for you to score. And then they just gradually separate themselves from everybody, like that. Like that lead will just get bigger and bigger because you coming down, you jacking up threes. They coming down, they hitting like the mid range jumpers, and every once in a while they would shoot a 3. But this team right here, the Spurs really had an answer for that. And so they compete on both ends. And I don't see OKC so far hasn't like saying like they have a solution for what the Spurs bring to the table. And like I said, man, when I'm looking at this team, man, it just reminds me of those teams back when, you know, Greg Popovich was like on his run when he had David Robinson and Tim Duncan at the same time, man, and what they was doing in the West at that time. The way they managed this kid, Wembanyama, I think is really good. They bringing him off the bench, and when you got a superstar basketball player like Wembanyama, who was not really, they don't have a problem with coming off the bench, and he's not causing any headaches or anything, man. This team is. I like the way they really utilizing him because I think they're waiting for his body to like, his body is still maturing, right? And so if you put too much pressure and too much strain on him, then he'll break down. And if he break down, it might be some things that he break down and he may not recover from. So they bringing him along slowly, which I think, in my opinion, again, that's another one of Greg Popovich, one of his, some of his tactics that he used back in the day. And people say, well, Greg Popovich invented load management, right? But with this kid right here, you're not really load managing him. You're restricting his minutes and you're bringing him in at crucial times. Just because this guy is like one of the best ball players, one of the best basketball players in the league, don't mean that you just throw him out there for the whole game and run him into the hole. You let his body mature and get used to this NBA grind, and then next thing you know, you have extended his career. Now, maybe later on, I'm sure later on, like within the next few years or so, he'll be able to log more minutes. I think right now he's probably doing like about 20 something minutes a game. But when they put him in, I think is more important than starting him. You know, having him finish the game, I think, is more important than starting him, man. So this team right here, man, it's just like it seems like it's just like a San Antonio Spur way of doing things. I haven't seen any other team besides like the Miami Heat. Let me see, and I think who else is like that? Toronto, but Toronto has a, but they don't have the history as the Miami Heat and the Spurs have, right? And so, you know, but the way the Spurs do things, man, you know, they've been doing this for years. So this kid went to the right team because he's with the right coaches and the right managers and all those guys, man, who really know what they're doing and how to bring this kid along. And once he mature, cause I don't even know how old he is, but I figure by the time he get about 26 or 27, and he had that NBA body and that NBA experience. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, you know. And so, I mean, the game plan for bringing this kid along, the Spurs gonna really, in my opinion, I think they're gonna dominate. Even the West is just tough too, right? It's a gauntlet. Some people say the West is a gauntlet, but they gonna be in the thick of things. You know, they definitely gonna be in the thick of things. And I don't, let me see who's. I'm gonna bring this coach back up because this guy might his coach for the Spurs, man, might he probably he gonna win some rings. I think he probably gonna have. I would venture to say that this guy probably gonna catch Steve Kerr when it comes to rings. Honestly, especially with this young team and managing them the way they manage them. You know, you got it. Like I said, you got the veterans in there. Then you got the young horses in there who will carry the bulk of the weight, man. These two right here, Dylan Harper and Victor Wembanyama, they're gonna be together for a long time. So, yeah, man, this team got pop written all over it though, and so yeah, I just wanted to come on here, man, and it's gonna be fun to watch. I like watching teams too who just play at both ends. You know, you know, just play at both ends, defense and offense, man. And so you really gotta compete. If you want to beat teams like this, you definitely have to compete. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'm gonna check you all out in the next video. Peace.